Hello everyone, welcome back to Exploring DC, where we take a piece of DC and explore with you. I am your host, Josh. With me are, as always, are my co-hosts, Jackson and Jalen. Hey guys, how are we? What are we up to?
I've been thinking, Josh, and you know
Yeah.
what I've been thinking about. After we get off this call,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to go eat something.
Okay.
And I don't know if I should take the evil route and perhaps the route that I would like to go down and go eat a Hot Pocket, or if I should be healthy and like, I don't know, go suck on a banana or something. You know?
Just suck on the banana? Like, don't actually
No,
consume it?
I'd eat it, you know?
Oh, okay. So, alright. Are you eating the peel too?
Do you think I'm a fucking maniac?
Yes, that's why I'm asking if you eat
What the
the peel.
fuck? Is that a thing people do?
There's
What the fuck?
nutrients there, man. Come on, man.
I don't give a shit if they're a nutrient. I'm not eating banana skin, gang. Like,
There's
that's
some
Wait,
bro
crazy.
out there that's gonna
wait.
tell
So,
you that's pure protein.
so, Jackson, do you eat baked potatoes?
Yes.
Do you eat the
Huh?
baked potato like skin?
Fuck no.
Huh.
Why would you do that?
No,
It's not
Zanaya
bad.
does. Zanaya does. She eats it
Huh.
every.
The baked
Yeah,
potato skin is not that bad. I mean, it's not the worst thing.
yeah. So, especially when you got like the kosher salt on
Okay,
it.
well,
You know, it's no. I've actually tried it
but yeah,
myself.
the way
It's
that you're
actually
talking
fire.
makes it sound. You just said you didn't do it. You just said you didn't do
It's
it.
not that bad.
No, no. I've tried it. I've
Fucking
tried it.
liar.
I don't do
He
it.
had
No,
to
no.
have
I don't
Zeke
do it.
experiment.
But I tried it. I've tried it.
I'm not even like on the baked potato skin anymore. I'm just on the fact that Jalen's a fucking chronic liar and just
What are
came on
you?
here and was like, "No, I don't do that." And then he's like, "No, I've actually done it and it's great."
No. I
Anyways,
don't like.
you
I
know,
don't actively
Jalen,
do it.
you're
I've
spending so
tried
much
it.
time
Oh my
sidetracking
god.
us when we're here to talk about Superman for all seasons, and you're over here talking about sucking on bananas. What the fuck?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jalen, this is a weird
Yeah.
Yeah,
side
dude, I
tangent
can't.
to go
I don't know
down.
what the hell you're doing.
Yeah, this is a very weird way to start the
Anyways,
episode.
we
I'm
also have a
great
guest
though.
today.
We
Yeah,
thanks,
nobody
Jalen.
asked.
Thanks, Jalen. Yeah, we do have a guest, Giancarlo. How are you? We are so
So
excited to
I'm
have you.
good. I'm
You
happy
were
to be
guest.
here and talk about stuff.
You're guest number 4, I think, at this point. Which is, we're adding them up, and you were the first guest to actually be properly introduced. The other 3 guests just kind of like started without
That's
introduction.
because you know what, Jalen.
So
Maybe your rant was for something.
Yeah, there you
it
go.
was an
Yeah,
intro.
a
It
little
was
bit
like
of an
a
intro.
build
Yes,
up,
there
little
you
build
go.
up.
Yeah, gotcha. Giancarlo, favorite DC character, and then a movie or TV show that you like. Don't think about it too much. Just like off the dome.
Something bad. Mr. Miracle, and
All right.
favorite like DC movie would probably be the Batman. Then
Ooh, I like that. I like that. There you go. Those are good picks. And Mr. Miracle is very relevant, as we'll talk about later in the
yes.
show.
Did something happen,
Yes.
Yeah, you know the Miracle Whip? They had a collab.
dude?
Mr. Miracle Whip.
That's what I've been waiting for this whole time.
That's all we've been waiting for. Anyway, guys, as Jackson said, we're talking about Superman for All Seasons, a 4-issue comic book series from 1998. And it basically explores the ethos of Superman without doing an origin story or anything, and it's told from 4 different perspectives through each season. So Pa Kent does one season, then Lois, then Lex, and then Lana, going through spring, summer, fall, and winter. Written by Jeff Loeb. Jeff Loeb, very interesting guy, did a lot of TV work on Lost. He was the head of Marvel TV for a while.
Yep.
He
He's also racist.
Yeah, was he?
Yeah, that's the main one.
That's the
He
problem.
kind of messed up
That's
Daredevil
the
season
main one.
2. He kind of fucked it over. Sorry.
Yeah, the main was that he's racist.
That's
Yeah.
the big one.
That's the big. I thought we were done with problematic people after Bryan Singer last week, but I guess not.
It's just never.
Oh.
You can't. We can't do a DC podcast and not talk about problematic people. That's just. I don't think that's how that works.
I don't think it's gonna continue as we get into some of those Snyder things too.
Yo, we haven't even gotten started.
I haven't even got started. Anyway, he worked on Smallville as well. This actually inspired a lot of stuff they did with Smallville, and then he did, your Long Halloween, Age of Apocalypse, some pretty famous Marvel stuff as well. Art by Tim Sale.
Ooh,
who's
that's my
worked
goat.
worked with him on a bunch of stuff. Same with the Long Halloween. They did Spider-Man Blue, which, as we know, is very prominent in the sphere that we are in, Jackson. And
There's never been a problematic fan film that was inspired by it,
by
ever.
Spider-Man. Never.
There's never been one.
Never.
Wait, there hasn't?
That's a deep
Wait,
cut.
but I thought, I thought there was one.
No,
No, there wasn't.
You don't know what you're talking
Man.
about. You're a crazy person.
Oh
nah,
man.
what are you talking
No.
about?
I guess I'm thinking about something else, guys.
Anyway, Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale, pretty iconic duo before the racism and all the problematic stuff.
God.
This was kind of conceived as a standalone after Long Halloween. It's meant to work as not tied into any other Superman story. One thing Jeff Loeb really wanted to do was those double-page spreads, which he has across things for the art. Like, there's a famous one of Pac and Superman looking at the sun, which you don't see in a lot of comics, those full-page spreads. Did not originally tend to have a narrator throughout this, but Jeff Loeb did not want to be in Superman's POV because he felt like he wanted to make it an iconic status, so he takes all these different perspectives of characters throughout. And that's pretty much everything that happened with it, and then we got a couple short continuations that they worked on. They did a 2-page comic called When Clark Met Bruce, which details this Clark meeting Bruce Wayne. There was a prom night 4-page comic where he takes Lana out, and then there was like a 4-page comic called Sam's Story, which is one of his friends named Sam, and it details his past. Did you guys read any of those? Because they were in my.
I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, they were all in here.
I had the Bruce and Clark one. I didn't get the other ones.
Yeah, I'd read the Clark Bruce one. I thought that was like pretty famous, so I'd read that one before, especially because it was only 2 pages. But it was cool because I got to the end of this, and then there was like, here's some other stuff that was also featured this version. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Giancarlo, I'll start with you. Where's your prior experience with this one before, and then what was your general thoughts? With it?
Well, it's pretty iconic, so it's kind of hard to like be into Superman and have people like not reference it in terms of stuff. But this is like I haven't read it since I was like 10, I don't think.
Okay.
But it still holds up. It's really good. Like the art's amazing and everything. I love racism aside. Jeff Loeb can cook with his writing when he wants to. I love all the narration and stuff, but it's really good. I think probably my favorite like early Superman comic. Yeah, early. Yeah, I'd say that.
Jalen Jackson, first time.
That was my first. This is my first time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this was actually my first time. I had heard about this story so many times because it is one of the more famous Superman stories, if not maybe the most famous, other than Death of Superman, Death and Return. But I do believe that James Gunn, correct me if I'm wrong, but James Gunn, did he say that this was inspiration for his Superman movie that's coming up?
Yes.
Yeah. So that was like
Big
the first time where I truly like was like, okay, I need to pick this up, and I picked it up today, and it is so beautiful, dude. It's interesting, for sure.
I remember when we had our first little pre-meeting for this podcast, we were writing out ideas for what we wanted to do. We knew Superman was coming up. And we put All-Star Superman and this book down. And it's been like sitting in my idea list for the 4 or 5 months we've been doing this podcast. And I knew that it was going to be like a big one. And I didn't realize how short it was. I thought it was more of a larger series. Because All-Star Superman was like a 12-issue thing. But
there are 40-page issues, right?
For all seasons?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty extensive. It's only 4 issues, but they are pretty extensive issues. But it's not like as thick as All-Star Superman is, or some of the other comics we've done. This is probably the shortest one read through by far.
Yeah, I would agree.
I would say. I am not going to bury the lead. I fucking loved it, man. I thought this was one of my favorites that we've done on this podcast so far. It kind of captured exactly what I want from Superman, which we've gotten from reading All-Star Superman and Kingdom Come and a lot of stuff. And it just gets me more and more excited for this upcoming movie. I feel like that Always Sunny clip of fucking Danny DeVito, and it's like, I get it now, man.
Yeah.
I've been fucking enlightened with this book. Let's get on a couple things. The one thing I wanted to talk about, like, I guess relating to the DCU, is the just tone. I think that's what captures the best part of it. It's just the essence of your Boy Scout Superman that just wants to be a friend and help people, and I think this one works in that way. Like that is
Yeah.
the embodiment, and I think it helps that you're using all these different perspectives of people that are just seeing what Superman does instead of his internal conflict. You just see him perform these actions without knowing where he's at with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I really connected with, was the narration, which I didn't know how I was going to feel at first, because it starts with Pa Kent reading, and I'm like, okay, where's this going to go? But it carries that way the whole way through.
So let me ask you guys, who is your favorite narration out of the 4?
That's a good question, man.
I mean, I'm partial to Lex just because he's such a miserable little prick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest.
I gotta go with Pa Kent.
You gotta go Pa Kent? Okay. Okay, what about you?
I'm gonna go Pa Kent. I don't know.
So Jackson, you're going Lex.
I think it was interesting. I was reading about it, and Pa Kent and Lana Lang very much know Superman.
Yeah.
On a more deeper level in this book. So I think their narrations offer a lot more insight. Where Lois and Lex are interesting because they're from the outside and it's very much peering in. So I liked when the bookends of it are both very introspective. Like, we know who Clark is as a person and who he is. And I thought, especially Pa Kent, like letting go of his son was really powerful stuff.
Yeah,
Jackson, Lex is
a hater,
goofy
but
guy.
like the whole Pa Kent stuff, it low key reminded me a little bit of how the Man of Steel Pa Kent was a tiny bit, like at first, where he was like very much, in a way, not fully to the extent of Man of Steel Pa Kent, but like in a way he was like kind of hide your powers, or like you're changing in a way, and it's like it scares me as your father, right? But I know I can't hold you here, you know. I mean, and I'm sure we'll get to it next week, but Man of Steel Pa Kent was very controversial, just for some of those decisions made. But kind of like Giancarlo said, I think he was maybe my second favorite, just because of how like it was that true love of a father, you know, and just how that was conveyed through Pa Kent. You know, but Lex was definitely my favorite for sure. Just that hater energy is just unbeatable, bro.
And his haircut is just absolutely goofy in this one. They gave him the full ginger.
Yeah.
They even do like the whole like old school thing when he had like the like very long hair. They fucked him up. It's amazing.
It kind of gave me like Gene Hackman vibes in the looks, but not Gene Hackman vibes in the characterization.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the characterization was like a lot more serious than Gene Hackman's was, but
he was a sinister little guy.
He was a sinister little dude, man. What I thought was interesting too was how Lois was a little more empathetic to Lex than you typically see. Like she was.
Yeah, she was not really. She was not fucking with Superman in this one.
Superman was not fucking with her, man.
Yeah.
It was a really interesting dynamic. I think it's like kind of Superman 3 coded, where, you know, it's very much Lana Lang focused, and you don't really see that a lot in the modern
No, you don't.
You see that in the early years with Smallville and stuff. You don't see it in the modern day. It was fascinating. How did we feel about Lana Lang being kind of the romantic interest in this compared to Lois Lane?
I actually really like. Maybe because like I'm biased because of Smallville. I love Lana.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. I like what she like represents for like Clark when it turns to like him maturing in a way. Like, I don't know. I just appreciate when they use her more. So.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I enjoyed seeing that side of Superman's life. It's not one that you typically get to really focus and hone in on.
Yeah,
and
there's something
very
like
much.
Yeah, there's something so like juvenile. I think not like in a bad way, but like there's something so like endearing.
Yes, I see what you mean though.
Yeah. About like their relationship, and even like just in the way that she's describing what it's like to fly with him, you know, is so interesting in a way. And you don't really like in most comics or in most stories, you don't really see Lois talking about what it's like to fly with Clark or with Superman, and in this, even just the way that she was like describing, feeling like, all her cares and stuff were kind of leaving as soon as he lifted her kind of effortlessly on the field the day before he went to Metropolis. It was definitely like, man, I'm kind of sold on this a little bit more than Lois right now. I at this point I was still like wondering, because I know that's at the beginning of chapter 4. At this point I was still wondering if we were gonna try to pursue a small little Lois Lane Superman tease or thing or whatever. But it was very endearing, dude. This actually made me want to see more of Lana and Clark's relationship and more stuff, low key.
Yeah.
It's cool because Lana is a very different, like, how it approaches Clark and Superman is a very different dynamic. Because Lois is always trying to match Superman. She's always trying to challenge him in some way. And Clark, obviously, always, like, getting on him about stuff. Where Lana is very much more in admiration and awe of what he can do and who he is. And that's a very different dynamic that's fun to explore. And also, like, just your first love and going back to those roots. It's something that I wish, we talked about Superman 3 a couple weeks ago, that I wish they'd done better there. Because here you see, like, what it is properly done and really explored. And it'd be cool to see, like, I haven't seen Smallville. I'm assuming they explore some stuff. But it's cool to see a fully fleshed out version of the Clark-Lana thing. Because you don't see
Lana
it as
and
much.
Smallville.
Yeah.
In that show, it's kind of similar to like what Jalen said. In Smallville, they spend so much time with Lana. When Lois and Clark's relationship starts like get there, you're kind of like, I kind of like Lana more though. So I do
Exactly.
appreciate
That's
that
interesting.
relationship. Yeah.
So have
Wait,
both of you
Jackson-
finished Smallville then?
I'm on season 9. I haven't watched
Yes.
season 10.
I watched
Okay.
when I was a while ago, but I love it.
Wait, so Jackson,
Okay.
have you never seen
So is it very
Smallville?
similar to this?
Yeah.
No, I have not.
Oh my god, dude, you gotta watch it. It's so good. It's so good. Like if this sells you, kind of like Giancarlo said, like if this sells you on the Lana Clark dynamic, dude, that show you get like Giancarlo. Is it like 7 seasons of it? 6 seasons before he fully goes.
Oh, their
to
relationship?
Lois? Yeah,
It's.
yeah.
I think it's 6 or 7. It's
Yeah,
more
Wow.
than more than half of the show is Lana and Clark, which is kind of crazy, but I'd say it's worth it. I like their relationship.
No.
That's interesting. So it's definitely, like, inspired by this run, because Lois is very much an afterthought for a lot of this. I liked her story, though, and her... Like, it still felt very Lois, but, again, you don't really see her and Clark interact on the level that maybe you'd want to see in a typical Superman story. And also, I think it's very funny that, like, Superman is, like, just interface a lot about shit. Like, she's like, you shouldn't talk to Luthor like that. And he's like, I'm just gonna do it anyway. Luthor fucking sucks. Or when she, like, tries to grab the note on his desk and he's, like, pissed off about it. He's like, this is a very personal thing. Leave me alone. And then he just, like, leaves.
I love that panel so much where he's like comically larger than her and just like
Yeah.
standing right behind her. Like,
Yeah.
don't read my stuff. It's just,
Yeah.
I love the art.
That's a good transition, man. Because this fucking art style,
It's
you
gorgeous.
You see some of the initial things, at least I did, and I see Superman's face is a little...
He's
it reminded me
derpy.
kind of the animated series look a little bit sometimes. Or how his face is drawn and stuff.
The Bruce Timm style,
And I
the
was-
Bruce Timm art style.
Yeah, kind of. It kind of reminded me of that. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to feel about everything here. And then you get into those full-page spreads and just the watercolor art and everything. And it's like, this is the stuff, man. This is like, I was just enjoying being in the world and exploring each page because it was just filled with everything that it captures the tone and the vibes that you'd want to see. I think Tim Sale is an incredible, and I've loved his stuff before. I think his stuff on Long Halloween's great. I think his Spider-Man Blue stuff's great. I think he's just been an incredible artist, or was an incredible artist for his entire career. And this is probably some of his best stuff that I've seen.
Yeah.
I think it's my favorite Tim Sale book because he just goes out with like the watercolor stuff. I know, like,
And that's not a bad take at all. That's a perfectly agreeable take, honestly, for me.
Spider-Man Blue is as some people, no, it's a really good story that probably should be adapted into something.
Yeah, at some point, right?
So let
Chris.
me let me ask you guys, I guess, a question based on the art style, and this is it's kind of going to be like, I guess, a little bit like a deeper story question for you guys. But like when it comes to the art style, how do you guys feel like that played into this story specifically? Like for you, for your reading
Hmm.
experience, did it like
Jackson.
did it yeah, did it like pull you in more, not seeing it in that traditional comic smooth, art style? Did
Yeah,
it
I
did
would
it
say it did,
yeah, did it
and
give
it
this
works for the Elseworld too.
yeah, that's the thing, like too, like for me, I think it gave the story like a lighter tone, which I think you needed, you know what I mean? Especially for like this Superman world and for the
Yeah.
Lana Lang portion and for the especially for the Pa Kent portion. That panel, like you were saying earlier, Josh, where he's looking at the sun with this
Hmm.
with Clark, and like there's a distance between them. Um Man, it was something. It low-key almost reminded me of the Rule of Thirds a little bit, but it was like to see that in like an actual film done right. If any filmmaker does that, which I feel like James Gunn might do, at some point, would be incredible. But yeah, like for Josh and Carlo, like how did this art style enhance the story for you guys?
Josh, you
Yeah,
can go
man.
first. I'm still thinking.
No, you're good. It's the timelessness of the era and everything, and it captures golden age, but at the same time feeling modern enough where it works, and it just also, like I said, captures the tone and the vibe that you want to see. And I've always liked when I can't really place Superman time period wise. It just
Yeah.
feels like Superman, and
Yeah.
it captures, like when art captures the essence of a character, and you can just tell with this one, like that's pretty powerful stuff, because there's a lot of, especially when you're working with Metropolis, which is a very New York inspired city, like it
Yeah.
can look very gray and very muddy, but the way they do it in this is it kept, like the art really pops and the colors really pop, and so Metropolis feels a lot more lived in, and especially the Smallville stuff feels fantastic because that's just capturing like Americana, rural stuff that I've grown up with and seen all my life, and
Yeah.
like, that's it right there. That fucking sunset, I've seen that sunset, and it's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Like I get it. Podcasts, like I never get tired of. You don't get tired of it. When you get a good one, you don't, and that's something I hope to see, because I know a lot of people complain about the DCU Superman visuals, but what I've seen for me feels very in that same space of feeling somewhat timeless and very colorful and popping and being retrofuturism and all this cool like mishmash of stuff. That's what I got from this, and that's what I'm hoping to get from the movie as well.
Yeah.
Is that like inspiration? So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
Tim
think
Sale, what a
Bar.
yeah.
it's so. I think Tim Sale, like, I think the art works best for me because it gives it like a storybook feeling, if that makes sense. But it's such a like emotionally grounded story. I haven't felt this connected to like Clark and Pa Kent and something in like a while. So reading this, when it's like I've had like besides like all the alien stuff, like interactions he has with his dad and stuff, or interactions I've had with my dad, it just feels more real. So when everything's all beautifully painted and we have these like the sunset double page splash, it feels grand, but like grounded at the same time. If that makes any sense,
Mm-hmm.
just
Yeah.
like grounded emotionally. And I do agree with Josh about that. I think the movie's kind of it's close to that in terms of like how it's color grading and everything is. But so
I
I'm
adore
excited.
the winter panels in this too. I think they're so gorgeous. I love that season and seeing that captured as well. Superman in the snow, man. Like that's
Gorgeous.
You don't really see
something
that
for
a
me.
lot.
You
It,
don't.
rem-
It
it
should be.
reminds me of
Like we need a
Christmas
Superman
so
Christmas
much.
special.
Yeah,
Yes, we do.
we see
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man in the snow like too much. I want to see Superman in the snow.
Yeah. And another cool thing is we've done Kingdom Come now, and we've done All Star Superman. We've done this
Hmm.
one. They're all inspirations seemingly for Superman, right? But they all feel very different. Like Kingdom
Yeah.
Come is very grandiose and like larger than life, and All Star Superman is very retrofuturism, space age, 60s, 70s. this is very small town Americana, bright colors. It just captures that really well, and it's like I love all those different styles, and they all feel so Superman, and it's cool. Because with Batman, I feel like you get a very specific vibe, and Wonder Woman's usually a specific vibe. Superman, you can like apply to all these different places, but
Yeah.
it can still kind of capture the essence of him in a really cool way. Yeah, dude. I don't know what else to really touch on. Again, I loved the narration frame, because again, narration can be very hit or miss, but I think
Yeah.
they use it well to make Superman more of an iconic figure and larger than life, and it's interesting to explore him from that lens. I think it's very cool.
Yeah.
I love seeing the iconic thing of like my mom made it for me, the costume bit that you see.
Yeah.
in
I didn't
Superman.
realize
I
that
love
was.
it so
I didn't
much.
realize that was from this.
It made me smile very much, and that kid should not be playing on the rooftops though. Like this kid is
Like
No.
3 times. What is he
Absolutely
doing?
not. Absolutely not.
It's crazy.
Okay, so
I saw him
have-
again. I'm like, kid, you gotta learn your lesson.
This kid is just addicted to danger, I guess. All right, so I do have like 2 questions for you guys. This is like I'm really like intrigued. What is you guys'? Well, I guess the first question is like, is there a character? Since I know this comic is all about like perspectives of Superman and how certain people in Clark's life view Superman. Is there a character who you like? What character would you have liked to have seen what their perspective of Superman is from this like in this style?
That's a good question. I mean, there's a lot.
That's
of
a really
different
good
ones.
question. Yeah.
Jimmy would be very fun, but you know how Jimmy's perspective would be.
Yeah.
I think Ma Kent is something they explore Ma Kent a little bit in the prom night issue, where she tells a story of Clark and Lana's first prom together, and it's cool seeing her thing. But I would have loved a more full POV of her, because she's just as important to him as Pa Kent. And then
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he's not like relevant here, but Batman would be very cool.
Yeah.
To see in this frame, this format, a world's finest type
Well, it's
thing.
just like whenever you get a good Superman adaptation, I'm like immediately like, oh, I really would love to see that dynamic, you know,
Yeah.
and vice
It's
versa.
the dynamic.
Yeah, no, I know. It's like it's not even like a fan service thing. I feel like that is a very integral part to their characters. You know, I love seeing them cross over. It's so much fun.
That's why I love
Yeah.
the that short story, the Clark meets Bruce, because
It's so cool.
quick, but it's so like wow, it's just the dynamic.
I'm gonna have to
is
read
there.
that.
It's like 2 pages. It's
Yeah,
So
it's
good.
a 2-page panel, and it's basically Bruce's car breaks down right outside Clark's farm when they're both teenagers, or like young, like 12, and Clark and Pete are from baseball, and they debate inviting Bruce out of the car to go play with them, and Bruce is like all set because his parents just died recently, and Clark was like, I wonder what would have happened if I had asked him to play all those years ago. Like that would have been the first time they properly met. And Bruce is like, sometimes I wish they would have asked me, but you know, I don't think I would have been ready at that point. It was interesting, like what could have been.
Yeah.
Basically, is that whole thing. And I wish it honestly was longer than it was, because at only 2 panels,
Yeah.
like it gives you the essence of it, but I would love to see a more full capture of it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
There is I would have loved to have seen what Kara's perspective of Superman is, because I know
I was gonna
that
say that.
as yeah like literally like as you know a person who or as a person who has so much like anger inside of her because she was older when Krypton got destroyed and all this other stuff, right? Like, and she looks up to Clark, so I would have loved to have seen. Well, more specifically, she looks up to Clark's optimism of this new world and of, his experience with saving people. So I would have loved to have just seen like what that's like for her. It's kind of like a older brother, even though she's technically older, like him in maturity and him in experience, and he is like the world's who people on Earth aspire to get to. Aspire to be. I would have loved to have just seen what that would be like for her, and I hope that in a way, James Gunn Superman or Supergirl, I mean, can explore that in some way or form.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh yeah. There you go, man. That's a good final point I want to touch on is like what elements do we want to see most from this in the DCU and like what do we think James Gunn's gonna use?
I think just the humanity that it kind of hones in on it with Clark. You know, it is the main point of this is him, is Clark the person, you know?
That's 100%. Like when Lois is frustrated that has all this power and he just uses it to help people and she doesn't comprehend that simple thing. Like that's what Superman is. Like all he wants to do is help people. There's no tragic reason why. It's not a Spider-Man situation. It's just, hey, I have these abilities. I want to help people for the greater good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Jalen, anything?
There's so much that I want to see from this man. I actually just want to see the character Lana Lang. You know, I want to see what that was like. You know, because like I said, just reading this, man, I'm so into this relationship. I'm so into the, into the Smallville-ness of it all, like the young first love, kind of cute romantic type of vibe that we're giving here. And kind of like Jackson said too, just the humanity of Superman. I feel like, there are some times where that gets lost, in some cases and in some adaptations. But I think that is one of the most beautiful aspects about Superman is his humanity, in a sense, and is his personability, I think, in a way. So, I just want to see these relationships conveyed, and like I said, just his humanity. See how Cornsweat can get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Giancarlo, anything?
I think I'm so excited is because I think from the trailers what I want is gonna happen. What I think is Clark having feeling like a reasonable amount of doubt in himself because we get throughout the trailer whatever the whole conflict is with the whole Arabia. I think that's the country it's going to be in the movie, and him kind of getting heat from that and not fully. He feels he's confident that he made the right decision, but it's obviously hard to feel that way when everyone's telling you it was the wrong decision, which is such a human thing. And I'm excited they're doing that, and because I don't like Superman when he's just perfect. That's kind of not what I like about the character. Because even though he's the best thing is that he's an alien, but he's the most human of everyone, which is funny. But no, I think what I want is gonna happen. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of story parallels to draw from here because it's gonna be similar in the movie where Lex causes something for Superman is kind of shunned in the public image a bit. Where in this one, he doesn't able to help Toxin from surviving after she helped save everyone, and that caused him to retreat. And in this new one, I assume he's going to get hurt by the Hammer of Baravia or Ultraman or something like that, which caused him to retreat to the Kent farm. We know based on the trailers and stuff. And so I think it's gonna. James talked about like depowering the character a bit and making him feel more human and down to earth. And some people could read that as like, oh, you're not making Clark as strong as fucking Homelander or Omni-Man.
Yeah.
But I think it's the right move to go because again, Superman can be quote unquote boring to people when there isn't that like human element and that internal conflict, and not like making him too flawed, but definitely giving him his own flaws because he isn't a perfect god or anything. So yeah, absolutely, man. I'm just gonna get my thumbs up. Big thumbs up from me, man.
Big thumbs up. Biggest thumbs up in a minute.
Biggest thumbs up. Like
That's
I'm
real.
I'm so happy I bought the physical. I was debating it, and I was like, now I have it on my shelf, and it's gonna look so beautiful, and I can't wait. And this is the final comic that we're reading before Superman 25, so I feel like we've touched on all the big inspirations. I feel very prepped for what this movie is going to be.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
So
Yeah.
Gang, we have a fuck ton of news that I want to
All right, do it.
go through. So I'm just gonna go through it. A couple small things, couple big things. Superman budget THR just kind of put out a broader article about summer blockbusters this year and budgets and stuff. And there was a report last year that the budget was around 300 something million, and James Gunn said that was wildly out of proportion. That was more like 200, 250. But with marketing costs, we're looking at something in that 350 to 400 range is what analysts are saying. So we're looking at a big, you're going to have a big ROI here of like 700, 800 million. So do we think that's, again, still going to hit?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm feeling more confident about it now than I did a couple months ago.
Yeah, but the thing that is kind of crazy is that both Fantastic Four, Jurassic World, and Superman are all tracking to open over $100 million.
Which is great. They're all like the
That's
only
crazy.
movies coming out on their weekends, which is not something that typically happens.
Yeah.
It's like because they're going to be the only thing coming out each of their weekends, so that is like prime box office real estate.
Yeah, but it's just like it's going to be curious to see which one of these movies has the legs, you know?
That's true.
And that
I'm
will
just
just
gonna
depend on
say-
what's the best.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say from something that I've heard, because for the viewers out there, I do currently work at AMC, and one thing is that my GM, he goes to these things called AMC Connections, where certain directors or studio heads or studio representatives or whatever, they show a few minutes of the movie and they get like advanced pre-sales and all this other stuff, right? Just because I just found this out that movie theaters only make money off of the concessions, not the actual tickets or the merchandise, or like the actual merchandise or anything like that, right? So,
Why a water costs $5.
Yeah, literally. Oh, actually, that's gone up, buddy. $6.79 for a bottle of water.
Are you fucking for real?
No, dude. For
Oh
a
my
for a
God.
small bottle of water, $6.79.
In this economy?
Christ.
Dude. But but yeah. So I mean, according to him, he said that Superman is. I mean, obviously the stuff that we know, Superman is tracking to open at 100 million. But he just said that the energy in the room, because they got to see the first like 20-ish minutes of Superman. And one thing that he said is that like the energy in the room was insane. Just off of the first like 20-ish, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So it could be a big one. And plus, I feel like the marketing has like really boosted in like the last like couple of weeks. The marketing has been insane.
It went from 0 to 100. Like we talked about it being at 0 on the spot. Now it's at fucking full blown. Like,
well, that's
right about.
I mean, that's what I was
marketing, right? That they were talking about.
All I'm going to say is that I called it.
You did, man. I was doubting for a second. I was scared. I know the WB of the past.
Yeah,
is all I'm saying. So they're pulling up, and WB for all its problems have been pulling up this year. Like, what can I say? They've done a great job with Sinners. Minecraft movie is of a movie that's still like marketed the hell out of that. F1's looking like pretty solid. I think they've had a really good slate this year, and they're actually making decent moves, where the WB of the past couple years for DC has kind of shat out Joker and some of those last DCU EU movies.
Yeah.
With like little to no fanfare, except for the Flash's crazy marketing. But anyway, it's good, man. I'm hoping for that 800 million to $1 billion box office, but my worry is that it's sandwiched in between Jurassic and Fantastic. But I also don't think Fantastic Four is making that much nowadays. I'm feeling less.
Is Jurassic going to make that much money? Because I feel like people are pretty done with the franchise.
Just international. I don't think domestic is going to do anything. Domestic is going to have that opening weekend and then fall off. But international is going to go.
Yeah.
I take that back. Transformers continue to be selling crazy in China when those movies are not good. So...
Fantastic Four, I'm a little... I mean, I know this isn't a Marvel podcast, but I'm a little worried about that, which is why I think that Superman will probably surpass it in money and critically, more than likely.
You're worried about it in terms of quality or box office?
Honestly, both.
When did this happen?
Box office is very recent, man. I mean, like Superman's been soaring and Thunderbolts.
No, I'm more on the quality side. When the fuck have you started to doubt that movie?
No, not like just because it is I'm not like doubting
The Robert
it per se,
Downey
just 'cause I've
Jr.
heard things.
sized elephant in the room.
Yes, but it's also a thing too of like, I just for some reason it's so hard to get the Fantastic Four right on screen. I just hope they do it justice. And based off of Marvel's track record recently, I have no clue. So that's like the main reason why I'm worried, just because like I really want these characters to be done right. But
I get
that's
you.
a
Okay.
whole other conversation. You know.
Yeah. I will say one final point on that is that I'm not like huge on random tie-in merch of like food and stuff, but seeing all the Fantastic Four and Superman tie-in food merch at the same time is making me a very happy man. Like I still need to hit the Dairy Queen Superman shit, the Little Caesars Fantastic Four. Like I'm just eyeing those. I'm like, man, what a time.
They should do a Superman Hot Pocket.
Yeah, are you gonna buy that one?
Yeah, I would.
What character? Oh, would it be Superman heating it up with his heat?
Yes. Yo,
It just
we
burns your
need
mouth
to get a
when you
Hot
do it.
Pocket sponsor, gang. Like,
Exploring sponsorship. There you
Yeah.
go.
I'll
James
make a
Gunn-
I'll make a Hot Pocket ad for the podcast, and we can pitch it to them.
Okay, all right, that's fair. I respect.
Yeah.
That. James Gunn had a Rolling Stone interview. I read the whole thing. It was actually pretty interesting. It was a kind of a consensus of his whole career and everything to where he's at now. But there was a lot of little DC tidbits in there. So a couple things. Wonder Woman movie. Actually, this wasn't the Rolling Stone article, but this dropped like right after our last recording. That the Wonder Woman movie is in the works. That's something that they're. It's not like an official greenlit production thing, but it's just something that they're in development on right now. Probably the same level as your like Teen Titans or Bane, Deathstroke, whatever the fuck those things. But Paradise Lost is still also a thing. So they're doing two different things. I mean, this is pretty obvious though.
Yeah.
Be better.
It's not big headline
I mean,
stuff.
You do Wonder Woman, of course. You're doing
You
DC,
need a
you do
Wonder
Wonder
Woman.
Woman. Yeah.
My thing is, does Paradise Lost come out before Wonder Woman at this point? Because might flip around and have Wonder Woman.
Yeah, because that's a TV show, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's been an interesting project. So
A while back, didn't he say that Paradise Lost was kind of doing okay? Like that it was coming along pretty nicely. They just haven't fully greenlit it yet.
yeah, I think all those are just kind of in development hell for a little bit of like weird script stages
okay.
because rightly
Swamp
so.
Thing,
He's like, hey, let's
that's
get
not-
these scripts right.
It's been a while.
Oh, Swamp Thing is just James Mangold being
Yeah.
held up, and
Busy.
unless they drop him,
Yeah.
because he's doing everything but DC.
Everything.
Another thing, Supergirl's no longer called Woman of Tomorrow because he liked the simplicity of Superman, and he wanted to do that for Supergirl. I think this is lame.
Yeah, I like the Woman of Tomorrow
yeah.
subtitle.
And if you're gonna base it
yeah.
100% on the comic too.
Yeah.
Also, there's also a movie called Supergirl already, so now I have to say Supergirl 2026
And a
instead of
show.
Supergirl,
Like-
Woman of Tomorrow. Yes,
Like-
and a show with the same title. That was I get Superman Legacy didn't fit it fully, but I preferred calling it that over Superman 2025. I'm sorry, like any day. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah,
for me.
no.
It is funny in the marketing. They don't even show the Superman like the title. They just put the logo because they're like, you know what this
Yeah.
is. But
Like,
Exactly.
do you know
Yeah.
how much I
Woman of
don't like
Tomorrow.
saying Halloween 2018? I don't
Ugh.
like it. I think it
I
sounds
don't.
stupid. I'd rather just have an actual title for it. But they have to
Yeah,
say the
just
same, like, or Scream 2022. I'll just say Scream 5. Like, come on. Screw that. Anyway,
and then they went back to numbers anyway. So it's why
They
why'd
went
you
back
do
to
that?
numbers
It's so
anyway. Yeah.
complicated.
so I'm not happy that Supergirl's no longer called Woman of Tomorrow. But maybe I'll just call it that anyway, because it's okay. He said a recent DCU project was killed. I kind of made this into a bigger thing than I thought, but now I'm realizing it could just be Sergeant Rock.
It's totally Sergeant Rock.
Yeah, it's Sergeant Rock.
So-
That's not happening. And
my only other thing is that he's talked about the Authority troubles a lot, so I feel like that could be not happening.
Has he talked about that at all?
Yeah, he said that they've kind of had a lot of issues with getting that project right and off the ground, especially because they're introducing the engineers still, and people have been asking about follow-ups.
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah.
kind of been like, yeah, it's been a tricky. I don't think that thing is making it into a big budget theatrical movie.
No, I don't either.
TV show
That's
maybe.
gonna.
I think.
Don't even make it just make it an animated show, honestly.
Yeah,
Or something.
I was about to say.
It's
I
too
think
big.
it would
That's too
actually
many.
cook.
Too much CGI.
Yeah, it would cook as an animated series, or maybe an animated movie or something like that. Something along those lines. it would be fire.
I understand Guardians of the Galaxy worked, but I feel like people think that any random obscure team can work as a big budget thing, and that's what we saw Eternals just kind of like flounder completely.
Yeah.
I think Authority would have the same level of impact, or people are just like, there's just too many characters you're introducing at once, and also not a team that's like as dynamic. So I think it's probably dead or TV show is my prediction for that.
Are they still doing the Waller? Because I heard something like they were going to announce like Checkmate or something.
He confirmed that and denied the Checkmate thing. See, he's talked about pretty much everything except for like Booster Gold and Swamp Thing and some of those stuffs. But I think Authority's the only one I'm actually like worried about development wise. Everything else, I'm just kind of like, yeah.
I'm worried about Batman.
About Batman a little bit.
Yeah.
See,
Segue.
you talk about Batman. There's not much to talk about though. It's the same old with Batman. Like people are.
I'm not gonna pretend like I give a fuck.
He's like, oh, Matt Reeves is still working on a script that we thought was gonna be in a while ago, and they're still working on Brave and the Bold and figuring out that, and maybe they'll combine it, which they might or may not. It's the same stuff. So
wait, was he asked about Reeves versus combining again? Mm-hmm. And what did he give a non-answer?
He said basically, I can't say for sure 0%, but it's very, very unlikely, which is the most like cop-out answer.
Wait, so we didn't say no definitively.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking wild to me.
I think there's no reason speculating on it until there's actual news about it.
I don't want two Batman movies at the same time. I really don't want that though.
Okay.
I also think there's.
So Giancarlo, you want both, like you want it to be combined.
The thing is, I kind of don't like. I trust James Gunn, and he has a good relationship with like Reeves and stuff. So if they did combine it, it would hopefully be good. But like at the same time, how are they going to market that when you have two different on-screen Batman?
I think you got to combine it.
Like why not?
Because they're not going to get rid of that like Pattinson. They're not going to do that. So I think they may just combine it.
And think about how much confusion people were a couple years ago with having Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck and Robert Pattinson all around at the same time. Like people don't want all of that. They just want one thing.
Yeah.
You know, unless you're doing No Way Home or something.
Yeah, I believe that there's like something. I personally believe that there's something going on with Matt Reeves, like sickness-wise maybe, or just something in his life or whatever going on as to the reason why he hasn't gotten the script in yet.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that like the constant wondering, constant questions, you know, it's cool, but at the same time, kind of like Jackson, man. I'm just tired of the conversation. Yeah. It's just kind of like let him do his thing, you know. Like a Batman movie a Batman movie will come out soon. You'll see Batman soon, I'm sure. Yeah. Like let it happen.
I'm just so starved for Batman content from DC. I just don't get enough of that type of thing.
I need two apparently. I need two.
I need two.
God.
I think there's not much to say. I'll just move on. Let's go. Teen Titans Go renewed for season 10. Longest running DC animated show in history.
My bad.
I remember when this show premiered. I was there when it premiered, man. In 2013, I watched those opening episodes.
I believe you. You of all people would be there.
I feel old, man.
You're Ankh.
I feel like a child.
What do they? They don't even do any. They just do crazy stuff. There's an episode on doing your taxes and avoiding tax fraud.
Is that real?
There's episodes of them getting Zack Snyder to direct their 500th episode. They do everything but
they go to the real
actual
world.
DC stories.
That's so funny.
I kind of
the movie is gas, by the way.
The movie is gas.
Not even as a joke. The movie I think is really good.
And they said they're planning on making another one at some point. One of the Warner Brothers execs said that they want to make another one, and I would love it.
Warner Brothers saying they like animated stuff? That's impossible.
I know. That's a good transition. Giancarlo, this next story is very much for you. I'm glad that we had you on, man. Mr. Miracle series announced for Warner Brothers Animation. No distributor yet, and it's based on the recent Tom King run with him heavily involved. I'm gonna get your take first, man. How do you feel about this whole thing? Because we got a first look image and everything too.
I am so happy. I called this when one of the first Supergirl, when they announced the whole thing and Supergirl was going to be based off his Tom King's book. I was like, then they have to do Mr. Miracle then, and then he's involved with Lanterns. I was like, they're gonna do it. I just hope it's good. It shows like the perfect way to adapt it. Just make it 12 episodes, hour long for each like issue. But no, I hope it's good. I hope it looks good. The art is amazing, so I hope they don't mess that up.
I have the receipts. This man has been in my DMs before talking about this Mr. Miracle comic book. So like, as soon as I saw this announcement, I'm like, I know someone's gonna.
The book is on my shelf somewhere back there.
Oh,
I love it.
I know, man. I can bet. Jackson, I feel like you don't have any experience with Mr. Miracle like I do.
Did you know Tom King was in the CIA?
Was he?
Yeah.
Did a good job?
Sorry, I felt like I had to bring that up.
Yeah.
Do you think Tom King has broken like any like protocols when he was in the CIA?
Oh my god, dude.
Oh yeah.
Like, do you think he's ever waterboarded anybody?
What?
And do you think he was like
Did he?
he was
Didn't he,
thinking
like-
about comic ideas while he was doing that?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Anyways, I've never read Mr. Miracle, but I've heard good things about this run. Is this in the DCU? Do we know?
Probably.
The book is. I don't think it'll matter because the book is way out. Does the timeline doesn't really matter. It's
Well,
weird.
My big holdup with it being in the DCU is that Giancarlo Darkseid's a big part of this comic, right? Or at least involved.
Yes, he's the main bad guy.
So that's
Oh,
interesting.
Yeah.
If you want, like, that's where I'm like, maybe it's not part of it if they're gonna bring in Darkseid.
but are they really going to try and do Darkseid again? Do you really think so?
I keep like thinking about because when James Gunn talked about Lanterns when they announced it, he kept saying how Lanterns was really important about setting stuff up in the future, and I was like, I hope it's not Darkseid because we just did that. 'Cause I think maybe they're not. I don't think they'll have like New World or New Genesis and stuff. I don't think they're gonna have Darkseid be the bad guy again. Please God, I hope not.
Do the general people care about Darkseid though?
No.
So
No.
does bringing him into a TV show, as long as they don't want to use him as a main villain, I think
That's
it's
what I'm
fine.
saying. I don't think they'll use him as a main villain again.
But
I
if
think
it's
they're
a
going to
Kang-
skip that.
If it's
I
a
can't
Kang
say
and Ant-Man
anything
3
because like
situation, then you're
oh
cooked.
God,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I can't. I don't want to spoil anything, but it kind of works out pretty well. Like
Okay.
Mr. Miracle is pretty like self-contained, so it's not gonna mess things up.
Yeah. Jalen, anything?
Kind of like Jackson said, man. I'm not like necessarily as well versed on the comic at all. I've never read it, but I've heard so many great things about it, and I know it went viral on TikTok for a while. That's kind of the extent. I do know about Mr. Miracle from two shows, Batman Brave and the Bold and Justice League Unlimited, and that's kind of like the extent of my knowledge. But as soon as the show comes out, I'm gonna like haul in some Mr. Miracle comics, and I'm sure we'll do some, maybe the Tom King run or something on the show, and I will definitely do over it. But I'm excited for sure. I mean, just give me more DC content, specifically Green Lantern. Specifically,
Any fan cast here? I saw some Oscar Isaacs. I saw some Penn Badgleys. I saw a lot of interesting
shit.
things out there, man.
I have no idea. It's like really hard because it's like if they voice the character, they have to be that person in live action, right? That's what he said.
Sometimes, but
Or
I
sometimes.
mean, we're gonna talk about Clayface in a bit. But Clayface is
Oh,
voiced by
God.
Alan Tudyk in the Creature Show, and then he's not playing.
I don't want to say Oscar Isaac because this would be the second superhero he played with mental health issues, so that's kind of like an easy layup because he's a good actor. But like, I do like the Penn Badgley. I'd be down for that. I have no idea for Barda. I feel bad. I don't know enough. I don't know any tall like female actresses. But
Whoever played
Elizabeth
Katie O'Brien.
Debicki.
Katie O'Brien.
I like both of those actually.
The Mandalorian, Love Lies Bleeding, and all that cool
I'll
stuff.
be down for both of those.
And Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Yes.
Along with everyone else on that sub is a character, an actor for some reason.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I think there's a lot
I'm
of
excited.
cool directions they could go with it. So I also am curious if they have a first look image out. Are we expecting a 26 release date or a 27 release date?
20.
Think
In my heart, I hope next year. But
27. Oh, I guess they do have a lot for next year, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna say
Supergirl, Lanterns.
I'm gonna say early 27 or late 26.
I would say if it's DCU 27, if it's not DCU 26.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Because if it's not
Okay.
DCU, they don't care, right? Like I
Aren't
think
they
the Adventures of Green Lantern and Starfire and some of those shows are
Yeah,
coming out next
that.
year.
Yeah, and superheroes, superpowers, whatever that show is, and then Blue Beetle if that's
Yep.
like still a thing. So that would be 5 animated series on top of Lanterns and whatever else they're doing.
And then maybe if they do another season of My Adventures of Superman.
This year.
Not
they will.
That show like goes radio silent, and then they show a trailer, and then it's like next month it's coming out. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And I eat up every second of it, man. And it's awesome. Anyway.
Animation on that show never like drops. It's pretty like the quality.
Leave a whole
stays the same.
episode if you guys haven't listened to that, if you're made it this
Oh,
far
shit.
in. So check it out. Two final things. James Price, who did Oscar, he won an Oscar for Poor Things, and he did Iron Claw and Speak No Evil as the production designer for Clayface. Again, really strong behind the scenes team. We talked about they have the cinematographer for the Alex Garland movies. They have what's his name? The Speak No Evil director, James Watkins, directing. Mike Flanagan script. Like everything's looking really good behind the scenes. More
Yeah.
so than some of these other projects, I would say. Like even compared to Supergirl. This is a really strong.
Yeah, it's got a really strong team behind it.
Yeah. Jackson, do we think it's? I mean, production design. Are we thinking like 1930s? Because that's what I'm still thinking.
That would be so cool.
Like, come on, man. And then he just
yeah.
a clay guy in the modern day because you can live forever if you're clay.
Yeah.
That's how that works. And then you avoid the
That'd be
Batman problem.
Yep.
If it's Matt Hagen, I'm gonna go 70s or 80s.
Okay.
Either one
Yeah.
works, right? As long as it's
That
not
would be an
fast and
interesting
like
era
crazy.
of Gotham to do too.
When did Joker?
But they
take
did
place,
80s.
the
Yeah, they
movie?
did 80s.
Is that
and Joker,
80s?
I was gonna say.
If they do 80s,
Or
they have to make it
70s.
like.
It
That
was
doesn't
like
count. That doesn't count.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
That's just
That
New
got-
York.
That's just New York, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally. But yeah, they cast. I'm bearing the lead. They cast Clayface, Tom Reese Harris. No one knows who he is. Pretty much, he's been in the.
But how
Gentleman
wonderful is
and
that?
other
Genuinely, how wonderful is that? That nobody knows
Even
who the
more
fuck this guy is. That's
movies.
exciting.
Even
I
more
saw
so
him
than
in one
Corn
thing.
Sweat and Millie Alcock, he's like completely unknown. to
Yeah.
other people, which is really.
He was in an
cool.
episode of Doctor Who like 2 years ago, and then that's the only time I've seen that man ever.
Was he good in it though?
He was good. Like it was like that character was fun. He played it really well. So like, I have faith.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Even like to an extent
Also, I have
too.
a-
Like
I
you
have
look at most of the DCU castings that we've got so far, say for like John Cena, Viola Davis, and some of those returning people, are mainly like budding stars. Like they're rising stars. I mean, like even like Kyle Chandler, even though he's been in the industry for a while, a lot of people don't know who Kyle Chandler is just off the dome. Like if you see him, you'll know him more than likely, for a few projects. But you're not just gonna be like, oh my God, Kyle Chandler is playing Hal Jordan. So they are going with like those lesser names, probably for cheapness as well, talent, because the smaller names are always cheaper. But it's kind of like the MCU method too, where it's like you start off with smaller actors, and then those actors grow into like superstars. Not based off of these roles, but based off of these roles, they start getting more stuff where they could truly show like what they can do. So I'm all for it, man. Keep going with the unknowns or like the relatively knowns.
I would say your biggest name is right now Nicholas Hoult, maybe, or Nathan Fillion, and even those aren't crazy. Those aren't like drawing people.
I feel like Nathan Fillion's in the same, almost slightly above Kyle Chandler in terms of like his face. Like my mom recognizes Nathan Fillion, but she's like, "What's his name again?" Is it Nathan Fillion? It's like,
the guy from 8 seasons of The Rookie.
She's like,
Like,
Or
where's
if you
it
watch
all?
Castle, it's like, hey, it's that one guy. Like, you watch Castle, really? But
Nathan Fillion in James Gunn movies feels like that one uncle that like you don't really need him there, but you kind of like want to. You kind of have to invite him. You just give him a little part. It's like or like when your mom, like when you're going somewhere and your mom's like, take your little brother with you, but your brother's full grown Nathan Fillion and you have to put a bowl cut on him. Like that's the same energy I get from Guy Gardner, but it's fine.
the minute they said, oh, Nathan Fillion's gonna be Guy Gardner, I just knew like they're gonna give him that full cut because it's Nathan Fillion and James Gunn. And he's gonna give his friend that horrible haircut. I know he's gonna do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Giancarlo, to end this podcast. By the way, great having you on. Loved it.
Thank
Love
you.
to have you back whenever. How do you feel about Baby Joey, the upcoming character from Superman 2025?
I love that edit so much.
We're big fans over here.
I know. I think I just
Baby
scroll
Joey.
on my Instagram stories and I see. Oh, Baby Joey shit posting. It's like, oh, is this Jackson? He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, who the fuck is?
I sent him that edit because
He did send me that edit.
He was sending me some bullshit, so I sent him Baby Joey, and I was like,
I'm so excited.
We're
I can't believe that's how I found out.
baby Joey posting is in.
we love Baby Joey. Mark
I'm
Pello
for
and
it.
Baby Joey are two
Mark Pillow and Baby
lovebirds
Joey are two staples of this podcast.
of this podcast.
I'm gonna get.
for it.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to my local Target and get a Baby Joey toy before this fucking movie comes out. All right, here's what I'll say. I'll make sure for the Superman 2025 review that I have a Baby Joey toy right here,
Guaranteed.
guaranteed.
A little shake on that right there.
Do the screen.
All right, man. Oh,
If I don't do it, I'm cooked.
if he doesn't do it, he has to dress up as Baby Joey cosplay style.
Yo, that's kind of hard, actually.
Do you think he would?
No,
I would. Do
no,
Lex Luthor if he
absolutely
did-
not.
I would do Lex Luthor if you did Baby Joey.
Would you shave your head?
Let's not be rash.
It's not a crash.
Don't be rash.
Anyways, that is the end of our podcast this week. Next week we are gonna do Man of Steel, which no one's ever really talked about. It's a pretty underseen
Never.
Oh no.
movie. Thank you everyone for listening. We hope to see you soon. Bye.